I like it today because it's not achalandé. you.
그나이. So rice here,
Oh, okay.
hot water. What's that?
In here.
Go, huh? What's that? Okay. Okay. Last thing. Last thing.
That's it. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.